back to my channel. I am Sahil and today I am here with 10th video of the series PHP object oriented programming concept, and in this video I am going to discuss about magic methods of PHP object oriented programming. So before going to see some examples of magic methods, let's first see what is magic methods in PHP object oriented programming. The methods which begin with 2 underscores are called magic methods in PHP, and they play an important role. All magic methods must be declared as public. All magic methods are called automatically. It means no need to call by using object of the class. Now let's discuss some important magic methods. So the first one is double underscore construct method. Now this method is also known as constructor of a class. Similarly, destruct method is also known as destructor of a class. I have already uploaded a video on constructor and destructor method. If you have not watched, then just check the description box. There you will get this series playlist link. Now, double underscore call method. This method will be called when an undefined or inaccessible method is called. This will be more clear when I will show you an example of this method. So now double underscore call static method. This method will be called when an undefined or inaccessible static method is called. Now double underscore get method. It is used for reading data from inaccessible or non-existing properties. Double underscore set method. It is used for writing data to inaccessible or non-existing properties. Double underscore eachSet method. This method will be called when calling eachSet or empty for an undefined or inaccessible member. Double underscore unset method. This method will be called when calling reset for an undefined or inaccessible member. Double underscore sleep method. This method will be called first when executing serialize. Double underscore wake-up method. This method will be called first when deserialization is executed. Double underscore toString method. This method will be called when using echo method to print an object directly. Double underscore invoke method. This method will be called when trying to call an object in a way of calling function. Now double underscore set underscore state method. This method will be called when calling var underscore export. Double underscore clone method. This method will be called when the object is copied. Double underscore autoload method. This method tries to load an undefined class. Double underscore debug info. This method print debug information. Now I will show you examples of some of the magic methods. Rest you can check in the documentation of php.net official website. All methods are very easy to use. You will understand yourself from the documentation. Now let's begin to code. So open your code editor. Now first I will show you an example of double underscore call method. Okay, because I have already uploaded a video on constructor and destructor method, so I will not going to show you again. Okay, so for call magic method, first let's create a class. Okay, but before just write double underscore call magic method. Okay, now for this I will create a class user. Now let's define constructor method for this class. Public function construct. Now this function will simply echo constructor is called. Okay, now use br for line break, and let's create a user defined function. So for this just use public access specifier, then function keyword, and name anything, and just give some random message like hello world or anything you want to display. Use br for line break. Now let's define double underscore call magic method. Okay, so for this write public function double underscore call. Okay, now this function will takes two argument. First function name and second arguments. Now function name and arguments. Now this argument is in the form of array that is passed when we call a function by using object. Okay, so now let's echo a message function and just display the name of the function. So here I will use this function name variable function name you called does not exist in the class. So here we can just use class this double underscore class double underscore. This is also known as constant. Okay, now here just write class and use br for line break. Okay, now let's create an object of this class on $OB equal to new and user. Okay, now if we just create the object of this class and save and go to the browser and refresh, then here we are getting a constructor method message constructor is called. Okay, so this message is showing because this constructor method is automatically invoked. So as you have already know that any magic method called itself, no need to call by using the object of the class. Okay, so now let's call the user defined function $OB say and let's see what it does. Okay, so here hello world is displaying because we have just defined here hello world. Okay, now let's try to call any method that is not defined inside the user class. Okay, so here I am calling insert method. Now here in class you can see this insert method is not present. Okay, so if we save this and go to the browser and refresh, then here we are getting a message function insert you called does not exist in the user class. So this is the use of call magic method. It will check that if the function is present inside the class, then the message is not will not display. Okay, and if the function is not present, then this message will display, or whatever message you want to display you have to just write here. Okay, similarly if we just call any other method like update. Okay, so this update is also not defined inside this user class. So if we save this and go to the browser, then here we are getting function update you called does not exist in the user class. Okay, now if we just pass any argument here like name Sahil John, and here in update like 5 10 etc, and you also want to display these value using this call method, then by using this argument parameter you can display as an array. Okay, so for this what you have to do is just the function you called the function with parameters and yes, with parameters, and just cut this and paste, sorry, just use another echo and paste. Okay, now here I will use print underscore r function, inbuilt PHP function, and here just pass arguments. Okay, now if we just save and go to the browser and refresh, then here we are getting function insert with parameters, and parameters are displaying as array. In 0 index the first argument, and in 1 index the second argument. Okay, you call does not exist. Similarly, here in update function you can see the value as an array passed in this function here. Okay, so this is the use of double underscore call magic method. Okay, so now let's see an example of get method. Okay, so for this I'm going to create another file, get.php, php. Now inside this file, first I will write double underscore get method. Okay, now first I will create a class, and I will declare some member variable as private. Okay, so private name and private age. Okay, now I will also define constructor method for this, so function construct, and here just pass to argument $n and $a. Okay, now using this name we will assign $n, this age $a. Okay, now let's define double underscore get magic method. Okay, so for this write public function double underscore get method. Okay, now this method will take only one argument, that is property, or you can say property name. Okay, so here just write property name. Okay, now using this get method I will check if property name equal to name. Okay, if the property name will be name, then I will return this name, and just use br for line break here, and I will again check by using else if, and this time for age, so write age here and return this age dot br for line break. Okay, now else we will return a message, the property, and here we can display the property name. Okay, is not declared in, and here we will display the class name. So for this I will use this constant, class constant class. Okay, now use br for line break. Now what this get method will does is, let's create an object first to see. So $ob equal to, ob new user. Okay, so here we have to pass two values because I have defined constructor method in this class, and this is taking two argument $n and $a. Okay, so for name here here I will write name and age. Okay, now if we save this and go to the browser and refresh. Okay, so here we have to change the URL get.php. so here we are getting nothing. Okay, now if we try to access the property like name, okay, so just echo this. So here you can see this member variable is private and this is also private, so we can't access these member variable outside of the class using object, but using this get method we can access any private or protected member variable outside of the class. So if we save this and go to the browser, so here we are getting the name. Okay, similarly if we just try to access age, then let's see, this is also accessible because here we are checking using property name, that if property name is age, then this will return the value of this member variable. Okay, so now if we try to echo and access any member variable that is not declared in the class, then let's see what happens. So if we try to declare access the id, now here in class you can see there is no id member variable is declared. So if we save this and go to the browser and refresh, then here we are getting a message that the property id is not declared in the user class. Okay, so this message is displaying, okay, that I have written here. And if we try again like $ob and try to access city, then city is also not present inside the user class, and if we save this, then we are getting again this message. And suppose here we have accessing id. Okay, and let's use public $id, then here the message is removed for the id. Okay, but for city is still displaying because city is not declared till. Okay, so this is a public member variable, that's why we are able to access outside of the class. But as we make this private and try to access, then here you can see the property id is not declared in the user class because we have not checked in the _get magic method that id will be also accessible outside of the class. Okay, so we have to write another else if statement for the id also. So if we just write id, then here we have to write id. Now if we just go to the browser and refresh, then here we are we can see that id message has gone. Okay, now we can set the value of id here like equal to 5 4. Okay, so we can't set it from here, so just set here, so we are getting the value 4. Okay, so So now you understand that this get method checks that if any property that is not available here, then we are displaying a message that the property is not declared in the class, or if the property is available in the class, then we are able to access that property from outside of the class. But what if I will not use the get method? So just comment this and go to the browser and refresh. Then here we are getting cannot access private property user, that is $name. Okay, so because this $name is an private member variable, that's why we cannot directly access it. So we have to access through this get magic method. Okay, so this is the use of get magic method. Now let's see an example of set a magic method. Okay, double underscore set magic method. So let's copy all this code and create a new file, set.php. Now paste, just change to PHP. Now just remove all these things. Okay, now here what I will do is just remove this constructor method. And instead of this get, just write set, and here also just write set. Okay, now this set method will take two arguments. Okay, first is property name and second one is property value. Okay, property value. Now for this I will check similarly, if property name is equal to name, then I will set the value using this equal to property value. Sorry, we can't return, we have to set the property name with property value like this. If property name is available inside the user, then we will set the property name with property value. Okay, in the object creation time, so we will see it later. Let's also remove this return. Now just here initialize with property value. Okay, now if the property value is not declared, sorry, property name is not declared in the class, then we will simply display a message, the property name is not declared in the class or does not exist in the class, we can say. So just save this. Now let's create another method, user defined method, public function, and you can write any name like show data, sorry, and by using this function I will display the set value of these member variable. Okay, setted value of these member variable. So here I will display the name first, so using this keyword, sorry, this keyword name, concatenate again, use br, then age, use this keyword and age, concatenate again, use br for line break. Okay, now let's create an object of this class. So $OB equal to new user. Now there is no any constructor method in this class, so no need to pass any value here. Just save and go to the browser and just change the URL set.php. sorry, now here we are not getting anything. Now let's try to set the value of any member variable. Okay, so by using this object I will try to set value in name first. Okay, so here using name I will set the value, and similarly for age I will set the value of age. Now if we go to the browser, then nothing we are getting. Now we have to call this function, so sorry, object so data. Okay, now if we just go to the browser, then here we are getting name, child, age 24, and still here you can see these two member variable are private and we are accessing outside of the class. Okay, because of this set method. Okay, now if we just comment this out and let's see in the browser, so we are getting that cannot access private property user $name. Okay, so now let's try to set any member variable that is not declared in the class. Okay, so id is not declared, so here I am trying to set any value in id. Okay, so if we set this and go to the browser and refresh, then here we are not getting anything, so here we have to write echo. Now if we just go to the browser and refresh, then here we are getting the property id is not declared in user class. Okay, so if this property is not declared in the user class, then we can't set any value to this id member variable. Okay, first we have to declare this member variable, then we can set any value to this member variable. Okay, so similarly if we try to set for another member variable like city equal to Ranchi or anything, then here again the message, the property city is not declared in the user class. Okay, so first we have to declare, then we will be able to set the value from outside of the class of that particular member variable. Okay, so this is the use of $set magic method. Okay, now let's see an example of $to string. Okay, so for this I will create another file to string.php. okay, now let's quickly create a class user and declare a public member variable name and define constructor method $n, and using this operator, this name equal to $n. Okay, now let's create an user defined function, so public function say, and here we can echo hello and hello this name. Okay, and use br for line break. Now define $to a string method. Okay, so for this just use public function $to string. Okay, now this method will not take any argument and simply it returns a string message that you have directly you have directly printed the object of class just use double underscore class constant and use br for line break. Okay, now if we just create an object of this class $ob equal to user, and here we have to pass an value because of constructor method. Now if we save this and go to the browser and just change this URL to a string, okay, to a string, then sorry, now let's call this user defined method $ob say. So we are getting the value hello Sahil. Okay, Sahil is passed in here using constructor method, and using this same method we are getting the value hello Sahil. Okay, now if we try to echo out this object itself, then let's see what happens. This is the object and we are just echoing this object, then let's see what will print. So here it is printing you have directly printed the object of the class user. Okay, so if you just print out the object by mistake, then you can simply display any message using this toString method. Okay, it will return a simple string message, and if we just duplicate, then we are here getting the message again, you have directly printed the object of the class. Okay, so nothing more important function of this method. Just if we just if we just echo the object, okay, then we can simply print a message or display a message, and if this is not present here inside the class, and if we just print or echo the object, then let's see what will display here. So recoverable fatal error, object of class user could not be converted to string. Okay, so we are getting some error. Okay, and if we just defined this to a string method inside the class, then we will get some user defined message that you have directly printed the object of class, like that. Okay, so this is very simple, nothing is special. Okay, now let's see an example of invoke double underscore invoke method. Okay, so I will just show you the example of this method here into a string file. So just invoke, this is also very simple. What this method it does, so let's see an example. So just change this to invoke. Okay, and you have just change the message, you have called the object as function. Okay, now if we save this and go to the browser and refresh, then here we are getting an error because of this. So just remove, and now here just use echo. Now suppose sometimes we just call this object as function like this object as function like this, then what will happen? So if we go to the browser, then here we are getting the message, you have called the object as function because of this invoke function, invoke magic method. Okay, and if this is not present inside the class, then we will get fatal error, function name must be a string. Okay, so if this invoke method is present inside the class, then we will simply display a user defined message that we have called the object as function. So here you can see this object is called as function with the parenthesis. That's why this invoke magic method automatically executed and displaying the message. Okay, if you just duplicate, then we are getting the message again. Okay, so this is the simple use of invoke method. So this is also very simple, not any special. So now let's see an example of clone. Okay, so for clone, just I'm using the same file, so just clone magic method. So just change this to clone. Okay, now this method does not take any argument, and just change here the message, you are cloning the object. Okay, you are cloning the object. Now what this clone method does, so suppose I have just created an object, and I have also passed an argument using this constructor method. So this value is assigned to this member variable name. Okay, now if we just create another object $ob2 equal to, and here I will use clone $ob. Okay, so now as we write this line, then whatever the value or in any member variable that is assigned using this object is copied in this object too. Okay, now we can suppose that if we just echo and $ob name, then we are getting Sahil, you are cloning the object. Okay, so just use pr. Now here we are getting the name. Okay, by using this object. Okay, and here I have cloned this object into this $ob2. Okay, so we can also access the name with this object. So if we try to access name, then using this object, then let's see what happens. So if we just save this and go to the browser, then here again we are getting the name. Okay, so this method is used for cloning the object into another object. Okay, so this is also very simple. Now these are some examples of magic methods. So I hope you liked this video. So if you liked this video, then hit on like button and please subscribe my channel. In next video I will show you about namespace in PHP object oriented programming. So thanks for watching.